either by configuration or by coding. Coding requires big effort because you have to code everything right from the scratch. Whereas configuration is not like that. Okay, so you will have some few mouse clicks, check boxes needs to be checked, some key data elements needs to be selected. That's how the configuration is done. Right, finally the scope of the SAP, you could see there is a big circle. The outer circle, assume it, this represents a particular, the outer circle represents all the industries. The inner circle represents a specific industry. For example, automobile industry. Okay, automobile. The inner circle is representing automobile industry. Means automobile industry has got these many applications to run. Right now, you see here this particular elliptical shape. This is a specific company requirements. For example, in case of automobile industry, assume there is a company called General Motors, or let's say Ford. Okay, so this yellow elliptical shape is the requirements of a particular company called Ford Motors. Now you could see here, majority of the part of this ellipse has been covered in the inner circle. That means what? Majority of the things can be done by standard SAP programs. You just have to identify what is meant for which purpose. So accordingly, you configure your system. Now you could see there is something in between between these two circles. The one that is in between these two circles is the what we call it as gap. How to minimize this gap? Okay, you can either minimize this gap by simply writing your own piece of code. That is what we call it as development. Right, sometimes the development may not be a possibility, or the customer may not want to replace a certain application which has been running for quite a number of years. So these pieces, the pending pieces, which you could see, this is non-SAP application where the customer do not want to replace, or SAP genuinely might not have any solution for that particular piece. So if you can leave this piece apart, you could see here more than 95% of percent has been covered in SAP. So that's what we call it as SAP solution scope. I wanted to go with this role of a functional consultant towards the end. So I'll keep this for some time. Any questions on this part from anybody? Give me another half an hour. I will be able to complete the demo session. I guess this is not functional. Silence. Can I assume no questions from anybody? Okay. Now, look at here. So, this is what we call as a supply chain image. You see here on one extreme you have got one vendor, on the other extreme you have got a consumer. So, in this linear diagram, if I have to say, there is something called inbound logistics and there is also something called outbound logistics. It means all the activities, logistical activities performed on the incoming material is called inbound logistics, and all the activities that you perform on the outgoing material is called outbound logistics. So the combination of both inbound and outbound logistics is nothing but supply chain management. So now within the supply chain, where does MM fits in? And that's what our piece. So you see here, vendor is located on the extreme end from whom you procure the material. So if you want to procure the material, you have got something called MM purchasing. So this is where it fits in. Once you raise a purchase order, vendor delivers the material to you. Once the material is delivered, you keep it in-house. You keep it in what we call stores, okay, which is nothing but a warehouse. Once you have the material available in the warehouse, you have to give it a shop floor for manufacturing it. Okay, so once the product is manufactured, it will come back to the go down where packaging etc. will be done. Once it is packed, it will be shipped and transported and then distributed to a wholesaler. From a wholesaler, it will be delivered to a retail customer. From a retail customer, it will be sold to an end user where the product dies. Okay, so sorry, in between you have got different modules, different applications to work with. So here is your SAP MM, which is integrated with vendor management. And also there are a few more things which I have not specified here, that we will see it in the next couple of screens. So if somebody asks you what is SAP MM all about, you can say in one sentence, MM application module supports the day-to-day activities of procurement and inventory functions carried out for a particular organization. Okay, so it basically deals with the day-to-day activities of inventory, purchasing, so on and so forth. So now let's try to understand what are the topics that we are going to cover in SAP MM. We will discuss about architecture. Okay, the same architecture, what is single tier, two tier, three tier, in which tier, which application components will be available, which one will be used for communication purpose. So all these things we discuss it in the first class. Okay, and also we also discuss about the system landscape. What is system landscape? What is development system? What is quality assurance system? What is production or life system? Where the transport is triggered? From where it should move? What is transport request? What is customizing request? What is workbench request? All these things we will discuss it in the next class, the first class. Then we will discuss about organization structure. What is an organization structure? What is its importance? Why do we require an organization structure? What are the components available within the organization structure? Which organization element is responsible or a main? What is the main organization element for finance? Main organization element for MM purchasing? Main organization element for MM inventory? So on and so forth. We discuss it. We will create one complete organization structure. We take one company whose business you aware of it, and then we set up one company code, 2-3 plants, so on and so forth. That's your second chapter. Once you create an organization structure, we will be dealing with the master data. Again, master data can be broadly divided into financial master data, logistics master data. Wherever possible, we will copy the financial master data from the existing system, from which the client from which we copy our company code, and so on and so forth. Whereas logistic master data, we will create our own. Then, we will discuss in detail about material master, various configuration aspects of material master. We will discuss about vendor master, what is vendor master, where the data gets saved, what are the levels. Okay, so what are the additional levels where the data gets saved, what is partner function, vendor partner function. So all these things, vendor management, all these things we will do it here in the vendor master. Then we go with MM overview, like what do we mean by external procurement, what is in-house production, so which document is required for which purpose, how to create those documents, all those things we will discuss it in MM overview. And then there is something called external procurement, or what we call it as purchasing cycle. Okay, so purchasing cycle, this is end to end. What we call it as P to pay, purchase to procure. So we discuss about this entire procurement cycle, various documents that we create, various document types that we use, and individual documents' basic purpose. All these things we will discuss it in the procurement cycle. Then we discuss about what we call the individual objects within the procurement cycle, whether it is purchase requisition or a purchase order or RFQ or a bid or any invitation. We will just go and discuss all those objects. So once we complete the external procurement, we will go with definition and configurations of various purchasing documents that we use to start with purchasing info record, RFQ, request for quotation, quotation itself, purchase order, contract, scheduling agreement, quota arrangement, so on and so forth. There will be many more documents. So all these documents we will review, we will configure, and we work with them. Once we complete the purchasing, we work with inventory management. We discuss about the overall picture of inventory management, and then we go with each of the subtopics within inventory management. To start with goods receipt, what is goods receipt, types of goods receipt, planned goods receipt, unplanned goods receipt with reference to PO, goods receipt with reference to PO, right? So all these things we will discuss it. And then similarly goods issues, planned issues, unplanned issues, similarly transfer posting, types of transfer postings, and then transfer posting at plant level, at storage location level, or at company code level. So all these things we will discuss it in inventory management. And also there is something called physical inventory. We discuss about physical inventory as well. Okay, various types of physical inventory processes, like so those things, and then the physical inventory process itself. So all these things we will discuss it. And then there is something called invoice verification. Once the vendor delivers the material, you have to you have to post the invoice. So while posting invoice, what are the things that you are going to check it, how to verify those things, right? Is there any tolerances, or are there any blocks for this invoice? If there are any blocks, how to avoid it, how to release the blocks, right? So all these things we will discuss it in invoice verification. And then there is something called special procurement chapter, which basically contains 5 special procurement types. Something called consignment, subcontracting, pipeline, okay, third party sales order processing, and then stock transport order. Okay, so we go with each of these 5 topics. And then material valuation. Okay, so this is very, very critical. Material valuation, important chapter. So this is where you define how a certain process in inventory management, or how a certain process in invoice verification will affect the valuation of the material. So this will be covered in detail from the automatic account assignment perspective. So, and also we will discuss various processes affecting material valuation, whether it is goods receipt or invoice receipt or something else. So we discuss about these processes. And then there is something called valuation and account determination. This is what we call it as automatic account determination. So here we discuss about the various automatic account determination techniques that we use. And then there is something called split valuation, valuating the same material or evaluating the substocks of same material differently. That is what we call the split valuation. So even this also we will discuss about this. And then there is something called classification. Classification is again of multiple types: material classification, batch classification, vendor classification, customer classification, PO classification, so on and so forth. So we discuss material classification, and then we go with, after classification, we go with batch management. Okay, so without classification, batch management will not work. Without batch management, there will be so many things which may not be possible. So we will discuss in detail about the classification and batch management. So within batch management, you have got various topics like you know batch validity, shelf life expiration date, batch status management, etc., etc. So all these things from the batch management perspective, we discuss it. And then there is something called CBP or MBP, Material Requirement Planning or Consumption Based Planning. This is from the MM perspective, how to use this one, what are the settings required, what are the configurations required, okay, how to generate an order proposal automatically. So all these things we will discuss it in CB, Consumption Based Planning. Then we will see how an MRP works. We will see the service flows. We will see the integration points. When we work with MM, what you call uh, um, the valuation. Okay, that is called MMFI integration. Similarly, when you are working with MRP, consumption-based planning, you will be integrating between MM module with uh, PP module. Similarly, when you are adding when you're working with a special procurement scenario called third-party sales or processing, you will be working with MM with SD. Okay, so all these points will be covered as and when they come into picture. We will discuss about ASAP methodology in and out about ASAP methodology, various phases, what needs to be implemented in which phase, etc., and who will be carrying out the activity. So all these things we discuss about what we call the ASAP methodology. And finally, let's try to understand the role of a functional guide. The role of any functional consultant is first and foremost role is customizing the product, customizing the respective business case or a business area or application area, and making sure that the system reacts in a manner according to the constraints of this use case. Okay, so therefore you have to first understand. Okay, so you have to first understand what is the customer requirement. Accordingly, you will configure, you will make your system. Then there is something called developments, right? Sorry, documents, and the settings and prepares proper guidelines. For example, you may be a consultant for today, and nobody is sure that whether you will be available after a week or not. There is a good possibility that the same person may not be available. So therefore, for that purpose, each and every product documentation needs to be maintained with proper settings. Okay, that is being used as a training manual for the new folks. So therefore, this needs to be created. Then takes care that proper training is given to the end users and that the system is usable. It's not that whether it's been used in it's working properly in quality assurance but not working in live system. No, that's not the way. So therefore, wherever you are going with it, it should the application should run properly. Then takes care that proper training is given to the users and the system is usable, performing appropriately. It means, let's say when you are here, system is working. When you are not there, system will not work. That's not the way that you should set up. So therefore, you should be in a position to take care of proper training is given to the end user so that they will not mistakes, and also system should be in a usable condition. Go live assistance for the technical team. Basically, go live means you have to specify the table and the function. You have to specify the table and the data functionality. What data needs to be copied from the table. So therefore, I mean, the go live activity will be performed by the system administration team, where they require the coordination or they require the help of yours, because a field coming from old system should come and sit into a new field. So that's where you require your functional expertise for the go live. Similarly, the main duty of the consultant is to transfer external know-how to the client. It's not the manpower that counts, but intelligence, understanding of the processes, the feeling for defects, and general comments. So, you as a consultant, you will be able to transfer the knowledge on what you have set up, how you have set up, what are the potential issues that you might encounter. So all these things, because you are a functional guy, you must be knowing bits and pieces at least. So therefore you have to record them, you have to build the track of these things. And once you complete the MM module, various jobs available like functional contact or consultant, buyer, purchasing assistant role, stores in charge, master data maintenance. So various jobs are already available. Okay, so that's all I have with me on the presentation. Now let me just quickly show you the syllabus or the content.